I am tracking a strong thunderstorm that's moving through Butler County. It's on top of Hamilton right now, but our storm tracking cone does bring it into the Miami Valley within the next 20 minutes. In Springboro at 10:20 p.m., Washington Township, Centerville, even Miamisburg, you'll see that right around 10:30 this evening. This is a pretty cool experiment that I've never tried before, but that's why we call it an experiment, because we want to see what happens. I have a white t-shirt here and a bucket of water. I want to see how fast it takes this shirt to freeze, and I'm going to hang it here on the tree. But we got this shirt wet, and it's solid, like a plywood board out here. It took about 10 minutes for that to happen. So again, we've had these experiments. We're going to post these on our website, fox45now.com. I'm heading inside to warm up, and my advice today is stay inside as long as you can. And I'm tracking a strong thunderstorm on top of Franklin right now. Kettering, you're next, Beaver Creek, and even Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And a high wind warning is going to affect too. An hour-by-hour timing of this strong cold front on Sunday morning, and when the highest wind will arrive. Here's a live look over downtown Dayton. We have very low clouds tonight on our Kettering Health Network Sky Cam.
Mike, how are things looking for you? Where are you right now?
Good morning, Clancy. I'm on the exit ramp from I-70 eastbound to Old Troy Pike here in Huber Heights. And if you look to the left of your screen, you'll see a disabled vehicle and the State Highway Patrol just responding to this disabled vehicle. I want to show you some of the damage from this EF2 tornado that the National Weather Service in Wilmington just confirmed yesterday. Right over here, a cinder block wall completely demolished and taken out from this tornado that, according to the Weather Service, has had 120-mile-per-hour maximum wind. What you're seeing, this grain silo at the top, the aluminum roof shredded, all of that in the field behind me. And then just to the north of that, this house nearly obliterated. And beyond that, another grain silo was also heavily damaged from this tornado. Crews are currently working on that, an active scene there. Have you ever been to Kings Island and a storm has rolled through, and have you wondered what the park's plan is to keep you safe from severe weather? I'm here today to find out.
We have a bunch of weather geeks here, myself included, folks that are just really in tune with what's going on in the environment.
Doug Kramer is Kings Island's Director of Safety and Security. For nearly 3 decades, it's been his job to make sure each ride is working only under the right weather conditions. And Kings Island is one of the few amusement parks in the country that are storm ready certified from the National Weather Service. So they've gone through rigorous programs to make sure that their safety programs are top notch.
Not a bad assignment, Joyce.
Not at all. You know, it's funny, when I was on Mystic Timbers, we almost had to do that again, and I wasn't going to complain.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wouldn't have been like, no, not again.
I'm going to use an infrared thermometer, and what we can do is point this at the pavement to get an idea of what the pavement temperature is right now. So I'm shooting the little laser beam down there. The pavement out here at Byers Road is 21 degrees, and the air temperature around me is near 30, and I'm even starting to see a few raindrops and snowflakes mixing in from my eyes to the light on my camera. So let's get a look at our local temperatures across the area. Compare that 21 degrees that I just showed you on the road to about 32, even some spots near 33 degrees. So there's about a 12-degree difference. So any of those raindrops that hit the ground are instantly going to freeze. Good news coming out of the Cleveland sports world this morning. 2 legendary athletes continue to make a difference in Northeast Ohio. LeBron James says today could be one of the greatest moments of his life. He's set to open the I Promise School in Akron. Cleveland great Jim Thome was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Thome played his first 12 seasons with the Indians. He amassed 612 home runs and 1 RBI shy of 1,700 through his 22-year career. Thome, of course, is immortal in Cleveland, where a statue of him stands outside Progressive Field. And Thome was my favorite player growing up as an Indians fan. And I remember when I first started watching baseball, before I understood the rules, I remember one time I was watching the game with my mom, and Jim Thome got out like baseball players do all the time, and I was like, well, when does he come back? and I didn't understand that getting out is normal.
It's normal, right.
Yeah. We do Groundhog Day a little bit differently in Dayton. If you've ever been to the Boonshoff Museum of Discovery on Groundhog Day, it's Hedgehog Day, or at least it has been the past 3 years. This is Quilliam the Hedgehog. Here he is coming out of his burrow this morning. But what did he say here for the Miami Valley? Are we going to get 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring? Well, here's the result. he did not see his shadow either. So we're looking at an early spring here in the Miami Valley, and Buckeye Chuck up in Marion, Ohio, also predicting an early spring. So we have 3 out of 3 in our favor if you're looking for some mild temperatures. And I do have that in the forecast. But before we get there, dense fog that will start to develop in some communities tonight. And then the February thaw continues before rounds of rain. Those will be our weather makers this week, not snow for the first full week of February. Here's a live look in downtown Troy at the traffic circle. And while I'm not seeing any fog here, I did get some Facebook comments that we do have some pockets of fog developing up in Miami County already tonight. So something to keep in mind. Here's a live look outside in Beaver Creek. No fog yet either, but again, it's going to be very patchy and continue to develop overnight. 35 degrees right now, just a nice, easy southeasterly breeze. The wind chill not much of a factor for us. Finally, not a problem. Heading into Sunday morning, according to our Skycast, we are keeping that fog layer around and the temperature is staying relatively steady. 37 degrees above freezing at 7 a.m. But if you're heading out for work and church, keep that in mind that you might run into some fog in some areas. But by noon, it should be gone, unlike today where it took a little bit longer for that fog to work out of here. Then the wind kicking up south 10 miles per hour means we're really going to crank up the temperatures tomorrow. Here's 1 p.m. out at Riverscape Metro Park. They're open from 1 to 5 for ice skating tomorrow despite the mild air. 50 at 1 p.m., 52 at 3 p.m., and then 51 at 5 o'clock. And by the way, tomorrow night sunset at 5:58. We're creeping closer and closer to 6 p.m. and later. But speaking of Sunday evening, after 6 o'clock, temperatures will stay mild, right around 40 degrees. 9 p.m. we're still in the same ballpark as we will be Monday morning at 7 a.m. as kids finally head back to school after being off for about 5 days due to the Arctic blast. Here's noon, already up into the 50s on Monday, but we are mostly cloudy. And then 3 to 6 p.m., that's when our next weather maker arrives, bringing that potential for a few scattered showers. That's about it. Mid-50s throughout the day, and we're going to be staying very mild heading into Tuesday. A little bit cooler, though, on Tuesday, 45 degrees. By the way, Tuesday will be the first day that we have a sunset later than 6 p.m. 50 on Wednesday with a few light showers throughout the day, but Thursday we're going to have even more rain and even some wind and the potential for a rumble of thunder or two in the evening. Here's Thursday evening. We're seeing some yellows and oranges mixing in as a cold front passes. That's when we could hear a rumble of thunder, but maybe even a few flurries by Friday morning. But right now, the winter weather side not looking too bad.